Hi, Rajja. And one of the questions that I get a lot when talking with attorneys, both who are in our membership programs and those who are not, is a lot about staff and hiring. Because a lot of us know that it's really important to get high quality staff, whether that be associates, paralegals, assistants, part-time folks, but they aren't sure how to go about doing it. And one of the biggest problems a lot of attorneys have is a bunch of mishires. In fact, so badly that in a lot of cases, attorneys just decide they just don't want to hire anymore. They just don't want to deal with it because they've had so many bad hiring experiences and so many bad staff management experiences, and really they're kind of done with it. And that's really actually a shame, because if they had a process for thinking through, how do I hire superstars? How do I motivate them? How do I make sure that they are building my business? And also importantly, when they leave, because they will all leave at some point, that it's not a negative impact to my business. In fact, I can slot a new person in there. I have a hiring process to do that. I've got all of the materials ready so that they know exactly what to do and I don't have to retrain them. So it's a big area of pain for a lot of attorneys, and I thought what I'd share with you today is one aspect of that, and that is, how do you actually hire superstars? All right, and it's something that I've been very fortunate with the processes that I've put in place to have hired some fantastic attorneys over the course of my career. So I'd like to share with you at a high level how we do this. So I'm getting this a lot from a training that I did to our members, in which I went much more in depth, of course, and we've got the templates for them and the formats and all the scripts and everything. But I want to share with you, at least at a high level, so you understand what goes into this and you can start to put it in place in practice, whether it's by joining our programs or whether it's something that you try out for yourself. So let's talk about hiring superstars today. So what you see behind me is what is called a funnel. And for those who are not marketing types, you might be less familiar with a funnel. But the concept is you start with a whole bunch at one end and it narrows it down to one or to a few. But in any case, you start with a lot and you get a few. And it's culling people out of it. So in the marketing context, we talk a lot about funnels because you have a lot of prospects out there, people in the world, and only some of them become clients. So in the marketing and selling context, there are phases of it that you can go through to ascertain who are the ideal clients. So it spits out ideal clients at the end. But the interesting thing is you can apply the same thinking and the same frameworks to hiring. And in fact, you should. All right? Because the typical attorney, and I'll extend that, the typical hiring process is put out an ad, take the 3 best resumes, interview the 3, and select the best one. Okay, now that is really, frankly, destined to fail. Because what you're doing is you're looking at a resume, which, as we all know, is just a fabrication of what the person wants to convey. You can get 3 people in the chairs, and then you're going to talk to them one by one, and you're going to make a hiring decision based on, frankly, who you like, and not really can they perform. Have they shown that they can demonstrate the attributes necessary to be successful supporting you as a business owner? So how do we do this in a more disciplined way? Well, we do this using a funnel, and what we're going to do is sort people until out pops the ideal candidate for you. All right? And this all begins with all the people in the world out here, all right, who are prospective employees. And there are lots of them. Wherever you are, there are a lot of people who could be a prospective employee. So we're going to go through this process, and let's say we're interviewing for a paralegal. All right, we have a paralegal. We want one superstar paralegal at the other end. So we've got a whole bunch of folks in the world, and the first step, and we all do this, is put out the ad. Okay, and the difference of most ads and what they say and what they should say is actually pretty huge. All right, so usually an ad will say who we're looking for. So it'll say 3 to 5 years of experience as a paralegal supporting an attorney in a blank practice area. So it's really, you're asking for a who, right? Here's who you are. But let's think for a minute. Is that really what you're hiring for when you're hiring a superstar? versus a commodity employee, for lack of a better word? No, you don't just want anyone who has 5 to 7 years of experience. You want someone who is truly motivated to make your practice better, to super please your clients, to support you in any way necessary. So saying the who from a resume standpoint is not what we want to do with our ad. We actually want to consider our ads differently. A good ad talks about what and why. Okay? What will they be doing, and what's the meaning of what they will be doing? All right? I'm not going to get too fluffy on you here about what that is, but it matters. Because the goal of the advertisement, we always want to think about it, begin with the end in mind. Right? What's the goal of the advertisement? The goal of the advertisement is not to get candidates, it's to get the right candidates past a gate. This is a gate in a funnel. All right? We're going to be screening out the bad ones, but we also want the good ones to screen themselves in. And what is a superstar employee? A superstar employee is someone who envisions themselves supporting you and has a meaningful reason for doing so, because they really want to up their own game. So the what and the why are important. So the first step is to reconsider your advertisements. Instead of it being about number of years of experience and all that stuff, the things that most ads do, write a little story about what they're actually going to be doing and what the day-to-day life is, and then who your firm supports. All right? What's the difference it makes for your clients? Because the right person, a superstar, that's really going to resonate with them because they want that outcome. They want to support the kinds of clients you support. All right? Now, the next secret about writing ads is to give them homework. And this may be the biggest influence for getting superstars that you can. Because if you put out an ad and just do a regular who ad, essentially you'll get a deluge of resumes and you can't separate the wheat from the chaff. I mean, the best you can do is say, okay, yes, this person has 5 to 7 years of experience and has worked at a law firm before and maybe they went to a good school, but is that really telling you? That's just, that's information, but is that helpful information? Make them do homework. All right. In our ads, and I've done this for a while now, I actually ask them to write free-form paragraphs about why they see themselves succeeding in this position and what is meaningful about that to them. And I can do that because I've talked about the what and the why. What they're going to be doing and why they're doing it. Now it's their opportunity in this homework. I'll call it an essay, but it's not. It doesn't have to be terribly long. In fact, it shouldn't be too long. But I'm asking them to start to explain why they're a good candidate. Now, I'm doing that here at this gate for several reasons. Number one, I don't want a million resumes of people who aren't interested in the job, because then I'm just going to spend a bunch of time interviewing people who just really aren't a good fit. Second of all, when I give them homework, people who are not really motivated, who are just spamming out resumes, well, they're not going to take the time to do this. So I'm only going to get really serious, interested candidates. So I'm not going to get the ones who are really just desperate for anything and are shooting out resumes. There's a little threshold here. I'm making it a little harder for them. And so there we go. And they've got a little homework. And now they've passed this filter. And here, what am I doing? I am mostly reviewing the homework. Why? Because this will tell you more than anything else at this point whether or not you got a live one. All right? The homework, the essay. Because guess what? Now you can tell something that you could not have told from a resume, because a resume is this polished piece of marketing on their behalf. You're going to be able to tell how they think, how they write, and are they motivated. Okay? Now already at this point, you've got a huge leg up on the typical process. And you're talking to fewer of them. Isn't that great? So now we're here. And of course, I'm not going to go into the excruciating depth of samples and forms, all that that I did with my members. But you can see why already you're ahead of the game, because you've got more motivated people and you have more data to go on, even before you've wasted time with people in a seat. All right? So really, this is the review. Okay? So at this gate, I do the review and see who passes on. And fewer people, as you see, will meet the criteria. So I'm doing the review here, and I'm ruling out anyone who, I mean, you'd be shocked at how many people can't write a coherent English sentence. It's really surprising. At this point now, and especially with staff hires, the next thing, the next gate, if you will, the next filter, and this is, for those of us like me who are a little older, a new thing, a social media check. The fact of the matter is, as attorneys, our staff represents us. And if someone is searching the interwebs and they find something compromising on social media about your staff, how's that going to look for you? You have to do this. And you would again be shocked at how many people, especially in staff positions, put really stuff that's not okay on social media. So do that check. Or have your staff do it, right? Have your assistant do it, or you can outsource this. It doesn't have to be done by you, but once again, you're putting up a gate for people who have bad judgment, right? So I've gotten rid of the ones who can't think critically, who can't communicate well, now getting rid of ones with bad judgment, all right? And now at this point, we do a phone screen. And I'm not going to, again, go into tremendous detail here, but you want to have a script for the phone screen where you ask very specific questions targeted at understanding whether this person has the correct frame of mind and experience to succeed in the job. So you'll have to develop that yourself. If you are one of our members, then that is a resource for you in the program. But the phone screen is one way, again, that you're going to eliminate a lot of people for just 10 to 20 minutes on the phone. And look what I'm doing here. This could have been delegated. This could have been delegated. Now, instead of reviewing a bazillion resumes and having a bazillion people in the chairs, I'm not even talking to anyone until this point, and I've filtered out a whole bunch of people who would just never have succeeded anyway in the job. All right? Phone screen, 10 to 20 minutes, and really, you want this to be as objective as possible. All right? Not do you like them. Really, have they specifically succeeded at prior positions based on success criteria that would make them successful in your job, right, in the job that you've got available. And then those who pass that gate go to the last gate here. The behavioral interview and simulation. The behavioral interview and simulation is a really important part of the process because a typical interview will be, so, you've been at Smith, Smith & Smith for 10 years. What did you do there? That's a very unstructured way of doing it. Instead, you want to ask specific questions about how they did specific things, how they would approach certain situations. That's what a behavioral interview is. Again, I can't go into all the detail here. And the other thing you want to do is a simulation, right? We used to, in my practice, do a mock negotiation. And we'd see, for associates, how did they do in the negotiation? And there was a little scorecard that went along with it. So it can be extremely powerful to see how someone thinks on their feet. Or if this is, for a paralegal, how are they analyzing a document? If it's for a front desk staff, have them answer the phone. Listen to how they handle it. All right? So going through this process, you're going to end up with candidates. Fewer of them, a lot fewer of them. And that's a good thing because you can advertise more broadly because this is doing the filtration for you, and it's going to pop out with a lot better candidates. Candidates where you don't have to worry as much that they're going to leave you because they're much more motivated. They have a why, and they've demonstrated it by jumping through all these hoops. So philosophically, it is different because we're not looking to just fill the chair as quickly as possible. It's really important to back up and say, okay, I'm going to fill the chair with the right person. So if this has been helpful to you, I want to invite you to have a quick conversation with our practice growth team. And in just 10 minutes, we can tell if or how we can help you. And this is just one of the many concepts and the many tools that we have available in our program to help our members. In this particular circumstance, we've got all of the scripting, all of these things done for you so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I do want to let you know that there are so many great frameworks about thinking about your practice and improving so many areas of it to make your life easier and to get better results. So I want to really encourage you to explore those fully. Talk to our practice growth team. There should be a link somewhere on this video where you can go and book a quick 10-minute call. It is complimentary, and we can talk about if and how we can help you. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening on this. I hope it's been super helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.